So we did pretty good on the other account, and we're going to come back over here and try to one of the other accounts with the we've been trading with the staff here. So we're going to try to come back and get this account green. I don't know what we've got. Yeah, this is the only one we have here. So this is the only this is our only problem child on this account. So we had some trouble getting some fills in here, that's why I jumped off of it and went over to Palantir. So let's see. At one point we were green, and then we got stuck and couldn't get out, and then I flattened and it did a ridiculous slip, like $80 slip, and I just was very annoyed by that. But let's see if we can come back and do something with this. Wow, look at that. All of a sudden drop down. It's like because of the spread, which is pretty big usually. It's not too big right there. We've had to go ask and bid, and then you don't get filled or you get filled partials. Seems like this level it's come down to this level a few times here. It's actually at the 21 even. That's our level. So I would take a long off the 21. Was able to get quite a bit done today, which was nice. So I didn't stream for the masses this morning, but which isn't that big of a masses. I used to coach, and I don't do it anymore. But people are really trying to get me to do it. I don't know how many people are interested in personal coaching, but if you're watching this and you are interested, I would shoot me an email about it. There's on the YouTube channel, there is an email, under the information that you can send to the professor. And if you're serious about it, it wouldn't be free because it would be like a professional. I would spend dedicated time with you. That's what I used to do. I think there's a few people that might really benefit from that have been corresponding with me, but I wanted to make the announcement, and I wouldn't open a lot of spaces because I just don't have the time. But, I think I could make a difference, but who knows, right? I don't know. And with that offer, remember, I'm not a licensed financial advisor or anything like that. So I normally don't sell anything here. I just promote other people. So this is something to get into here. I'm going to go ahead and try to get in at the even dollar. There's my trade right there, 100 shares, couple. Of course, it's kind of bad if it breaks this because it might really break it, but I'll go for it. Say you just can't get in, it's just, or they slip, So it looks like it's going to pick me up. Yeah, I was going to say it's going to pick me up right as it goes down. It's not good. So it broke that level right when I got in along on it. These are the kind of shenanigans. What do we have at the other, we have over 500 right today. So we don't want to get anywhere near those kind of losses, so we still have a nice big green day. So I don't know, it has been fading. I was trying to catch one of these little deals, but I don't want to take too big a loss here. So if it doesn't recoup quickly, let's see. I was going to say at the quarter dollar, it's almost there already. There it is. No, I'm not going to add to my position. I'm just going to take a hit. I'm just going to take a hit there. So I got out. It's now $200 down. This one's kind of hard to guess. Well, hard to get the data on. I'm not affiliated with these people in any way, but this drink, as you can see, I moved my picture. This has got like probiotics to help you digest. It's like really tastes good. Only 5 grams of sugar and like nothing else. Normally I don't like anything with sugar, but man, the flavor of that stuff is so good. It's become my go-to afternoon sort of pick-me-up. As Charlie and the ladies know, who now are calling themselves Charlie's Angels. I guess that makes me, who is it, Bosworth? I'm not sure I like that. That happened once before in one of my businesses. Everybody called themselves, the girls called themselves Charlie's Angels, because there was 3 of them. It was an architectural firm. But I also had the same crew because I started a marijuana business way back when. And that's since been sold, but it was an interesting business. Let's see. As it became legal, I mean, not like, out of a van. Because I should clarify, I'm going to take advice from you. And I don't imbibe. There was a time where I did. But even with the business, it was like, I just wanted to go to bed. I didn't want to go get high. So, probably too much information. I'm old now, guys. I can't. If I'm going to get, I'm going to do something besides that to feel good. No judgment here. Just. Wow. Really feel like we need to take a long here somewhere, but man, this could just fade. So you guys probably know from trading with me, I'm trying to get this particular stock green. So that's like a pet peeve of mine, but it's not consolidating. So I'm chasing something. So I don't know when it's going to turn around. And if I go to chase it down, it probably will turn around right then. So this is when I don't have data. Like if it doesn't respect, I mean, it hit that $0.50, but just for a second, but then it broke it. So now what is this level? Okay. So it's kind of right here, smoothed out right as it hit its low. So it's coming down to its low here. It's just, is there new news on this? No, this is the same news. There hasn't been any news on this. I don't have Benzinga open right now. But, we don't even have the apparatus to do coaching. I wouldn't even know how to get money from people. So probably misspoke. Spoke too soon before something was set up. We were talking about it this morning with a group, my group of traders, who I will regularly imbibe my opinion, whether they want it or not. And, they were saying, why in the world aren't you doing that? It's like, because I don't have enough time to I have to schedule bathroom breaks, for God's sakes. That's how busy I am. Unless I take away trading, that was a joke, but I'm just saying it. That's what it feels like. Man, I'm just watching this go down. There's nothing, I can't do it. Oh God, let me make sure you don't see my account here. It's some pretty thickly traded here for this low of a volume. Again, this is not even volume I would normally trade. So everything about this is wrong. This morning, we did a couple of quick things as I was jumping around before I got on a Zoom call. And maybe was it over here? 10? No, it was before 10. So it was in here on a 1 minute, was really consolidating, I think, right after the open. So we were pretty green and then got caught up in a thing, and then now I'm refusing to let it stay red, but as the day goes on, it gets worse and worse to try to trade this. So I guess I'm going to go short, guys. I mean, I feel kind of stupid not going short. So let me see if I can get it to pull back up a bit to this 37. It's close enough. See if I can get it at 35 cents there. This will, if anything, nothing else, it'll make it start going long again, right? So I'm expecting a little pullback. If it pulls back up here to the 50 cent, which would be 15 cents, I would average in. And then if it keeps going, I'll just get out and be down $250 or whatever it would be. There we go. Wow. Didn't it seem like that should have been a much bigger move when you watch that go down? 20, 35 cents. But yeah, I was doing 200 shares before, so this is a long road to get out of this. Wow, I don't know how I could make this up here. We might want to just make up this account to get rid of this and go over to like NVIDIA or Tesla and just, bang this out real quick, guys, because this is going to take forever. So we just got it over there. I can make $200 in just a few trades, 3 or 4 trades maybe. What do you think? They're like, whatever, whatever. All right, let me just buy the bid. Let me see if I can just get out real quick here. If I don't buy the bid, I'll actually lose more money. So 28 cents. That's 7 cents. $7 on 100 shares if it actually picks that up. Look how slow this is. Oh, my God. Yeah, we got to get out of here. That should have picked up. That's so slow. It won't even move 7 cents. 5 cents. I'm sorry, 5 cents. So it's a $5 trade. Okay, I'm there. Jeez. I don't have the scanners open. Everything got shut down. Let me pull this out. Oh my God, what a mess. I've got to get the symbols set up correctly. There we go. Let's see what NVIDIA looks like. I'm going to look at the 5-minute first. Does seem like it's starting to consolidate right here. This is a pretty consolidating kind of look. If we mark that tweezer move right there, it looks, and maybe just take it up to that one. And then down here, how far is that? No, that's not even $1. Kind of depends on, what's happening here. Let me just look at this for a second. Okay, that didn't even move 2 cents in 15 seconds, so we're not trading that. It's a bad time of day, too. All right, this is why we end up going to Tesla. It's the only stock that seems to move. Let me just make sure it is moving. 5 cents. Only like 8 cents on my first pass at it. Means higher share size, bigger risk. Let me mark a tweezer there. How much money is that? Actually, I'd want to mark that level there. And then that's sort of a smoothing across the bottom there. So we call that the 50-cent mark then. I don't know what we got here, guys. This is a bad time of day to try to make this up. Let's make that 38. We're changing them to the even and half dollars because they're so close. Just so I don't get confused. We'll keep it at 100. We'll try to keep this at, in case we have to make a swing. Yesterday we ended up doing okay after only having like $9 or something. I can't remember. Yeah, it was $9. So we did quite well when we came back, and just for that 40 minutes or so we traded. So I'll get that all up on TraderView, guys. I don't know if this video is going to make it out, honestly, because I don't think I was supposed to say anything about courses. Not courses. Not courses. No, that's not what I meant. Did I say that? I didn't mean to say that. I meant like a mentorship. Somebody to just have at least a one-on-one 60 minutes or 90 minutes or something. That way I could fit more people. That's what I used to do. If it doesn't, if it doesn't seem to me that it's going to be helpful, to the person, I have no interest. The money just does not interest me. It has to be like something you really need or want. It's just not. It wouldn't be enough. It would be for me to be centered on that. If you know what I mean. But I'm sure I'll get negative stuff about that too. So what are you gonna do? All right, let's make some money. We got to make. How much do we have to make? Like $202 or something. Is that what it was? Oh, I don't want to mess up my chart. Well, this is barely moving too. Is anything moving, like really moving right now? Oh, wow. Okay. Hey, so that's still moving. Let's take a look at it on this account. Yeah, let me just look at this for a second. 2 cents. Yeah, okay, so that was 8 cents in 10 seconds. Yeah, so this was just going straight up, and we kind of played it up. So if we can get some retracements, it's kind of slowing down right now, which is good. What is that? Is that near the even dollar? Not really, huh? There's your even dollar right in the middle, so that's not good. We're just going to have to mark the move. There's the tweezer move there. That area right there, I'll make that the 50 cent. The 50 cent. Yeah, so this is chasing a rocket, so we're not going to get any good readings as far as we're outside the fib. Oh no, we're not. It's way up here. Is this a day fib? I might have marked a day fib for a swing. I did. This is a day fib. Wow. It's heading up toward that level, huh? So you definitely wouldn't want to trade it. You definitely wouldn't want to reverse up there. And this is a day mark here too. Interesting. Price level 1. Yeah, because I was going to swing this. Nice. So that's 95. Okay. Yeah, we were trading on the swing account, and I was setting up a bunch of trades, and then we just started scalping and did pretty good. Ended up not swinging this over there. So is that your high ATR? No. Yes. No, there's your high ATR. No, there's your high ATR. We're right at the high ATR. Yes, there it is. That's what that dotted line is that you see right here. So it kind of stopped a couple times there. So we can use that. Some data at least, which is nice. All right, we'll keep it at 100 shares. What's the spread? 4 cents. Here's our target ranges. 20, 30 cents, between 20 and 30 cents. So that's $20 and $30 trades if we can get them. I will do the ask and the bid. And we'll look to go in off this 50 cent as my first, if we can get it down there. That's my first long trade. Hoping that I'm going to definitely play it long biased, although it could retrace, could make a big move down and start to get that. Try to get in at 49. Didn't pick me up. The longer it waits, the more I get worried about that trade because I have to recalc what I'm doing. Yeah, so missed it, huh? Too bad. Went all the way up. That would have been a good trade. That would have been our first 20, 30 bucks. I think I'm going to have to go, to even have a chance to get that back on that money. We're going to go a little higher here on share size, guys. Wonder how much it's going to slip if I do market. I mean, I would trade 1,000 shares of this. It's not that bad, you know. I know you guys can't do that. We're not gonna do that. I'm just saying, like, I feel confident enough to trade it like an RV strategy. It's not, you know, it doesn't really meet the criteria. Wow. So there we're at the 50 cents again. I don't like the look of that right now because it tapped, and then broke through. So now I'm a little worried about going long right there. See, that's why I cancel the orders and reassess because, yeah, that's why I didn't do that. Yeah, that's only 8 cents apart, so I'm going to remove that line. Wow. We already blew past that tweezer there. So we're right in this area. I mean, these are just pretty lame levels. I wouldn't put much stock in these levels. All right. Yeah, I got to get a better. I was just thinking I need a better look at the Scalp Pro. So sellers lost. I would have seen that coming if I had this open. Sellers were losing ground, and then that popped. So I don't know how many cents that was. Just about 14, 15 cent move there. There's our magnet. I don't want to go short bias. I don't want to go short on this stock. Look at that. 5 minute there, huh? 84, $2 roughly. Excuse me. Yeah, I got a lot done. I'm going to head to the gym again, but I'm feeling like we have time to do a little bit of recovery here. I'm not fatigued out of the trading. Man, I'm going to have to buy the market down here soon. There's a level at the 20. The spread is tight. Man, I get in this trade. We're waiting a while on this. This is still low share size for the way this thing's moving. Let's see. MU's down $1. This one's up $6. Oh, yeah. This is because of that whole Venezuela thing, too. Sorry, guys. I switched just because there might be a better opportunity here. Wow, did that fib hit that hard? That was that fib. So is that a day fib? Yes, it is. It totally respected that, right? Look at that. Yeah, I did a bunch of day fibs the other day. My first live day streaming this week. Monday, I believe. Let me just zoom in on this stuff here. And we're right near, that's the 200 moving average right there. So we have a lot of data here. Says spread's only 7 cents. How's it moving here? Yeah, that's 2 cents. 3 cents, 2 cents. That's all it is. 2 cents, 3 cents. Are we going to get some bigger moves here? There we go. There's 5 cents from 81. Wow, not very big moves. Well, it says the ranges are bigger on the 1 minute, just in the 15 there. Okay, well, now it's moving a little bit. So it's going to hit this fib again. What do we got? How much let's go for 100 shares on this one. Yeah, if it hits this fib, down here, I'll go long. So generally going up, everything's retracing kind of this time of day. People are taking profit and Yeah, right at that level. Well, the fib's here. It's not on the 5-minute for some reason. That's at 68. Wow. I'm just going to take it. What did I get it at? 65? All right, so that's a chance. We'll see. I went market, and I don't know how this is going to react with the ask and the bid. That's what it should give me, 4 cents right now. $4, 4 cents. I went in lower share size. I mean, it could have a breakdown here, so this area. Wow, whatever we trade, it's going to take forever. $18. It slipped $3. See it coming in here. It's going to pull the magnet down, so it's going to pound back down. Here it goes. Sellers were starting to go up there. You know, when you trade, you just got to wait for the perfect, as perfect as you can of an entry off that level. I respected the level. So now this is another level. Well, not really. I mean, it's kind of a level there. That when you take all the wicks into account, that's kind of like your bottom, your flat bottom there. Buy sell oscillator sent it back up. That is based on RSI. So I'm not sure if that higher volume was for an upward move or a downward move. I guess it was upward. Looks like it's going to break it, huh? Looks like it wants to break down the flat bottom here. So going short, is if it gives me an opportunity, I am long biased, but I might do like a recoil short here. See if it can get me up a little higher into the 80 cents area here. And then I do not think I'll get picked up if I do the ask and bid. I think it's moving pretty wanky here. I think I'm just gonna go market. There's 83. You're gonna go any higher? It's only 80 on there. I was 86 for a second on the market maker. See, these were all up here into almost to the 47. Yeah, almost up here. So kind of holding out a minute. It's 84 on the market maker. I'm going to take that. Got me at 89. It didn't even slip. I can't complain if I lose money. Yep. I was hoping it's going to fade off the whole dollar. So I took it ahead of time. We'll see. Yep. Kind of mark that area there. We want to see it recoil back. Hopefully this buyer, I mean the volume did drop with the buyers, so here comes the sellers. They're coming in. Give us a little bit bigger trade there. Stalling. I'll just take that. Cut it to like $9, guys. Or something, whatever that was. Maybe that was I at? I can't remember what I was at. We have a long way to go, huh? Is everybody having fun? Jesus, okay. Trying to recover. We should wait for the power hour, except I can't today. But that still means between the two that we have, $340 or something profited today. We're only going for $100 a day, and we've been beating that every day. Yeah, I jumped in on this stock just because it had the potential, but it's still, and if it breaks that level, then we have a whole new ball game about how to read it. Coming up to the 4 hour. Let's take a look at that, guys. Oh boy. 4 hours already marked. Oh, that's from a previous day. See what the 1 hour looks like. So that's your 4 hour. I think I just marked it, right? No, it's way down here. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Oops. Oh, this is just kind of a process I go through to see if there's any opportunities that really reveal themselves. So we just broke through that 1 hour. Yeah, I mean, it's not even worth marking that. Well, over here is an interesting, but we're not anywhere near that, so kind of picked that one up. Here's from a previous day. There's where it would be smoothed out, like right there. We know all our breakouts are broken, so they're of no use to us. Wow, it came back to the fib. All right, we got a player here. Let's go short up here. How high is that going to go? 77 memory before I got it into the 90s. Trying to see if we can get up to that 347. There was 81. Okay, here's the next green candle. There's 91. 88 on the market maker. I'm going to go long here any second, guys. Hoping we get a spike. I mean short any second, short. Did I miss it? Oh, I think I missed it. No, here goes the buyers. The buyers are coming in. See them? They're coming in down here. Come on. Don't fade on us yet. Get up there. Oh, I missed that trade. It was like a 13-cent trade. There it goes. Come on. Past the 4 hour. How's it going to react? Everything's green. It should go up, right? So going short right here is a little dangerous. A lot of longer-term traders are going to add to their position or just get in. See, there's their 4 hour right there. Did you see that? That just... Wow, it just did a big jump there that wasn't on the chart originally. Weren't we up in here above the fib, and then it opened up down here, and that was weird. What did I miss there? It said that this came all the way down and closed at that 50 cents. I did not see that. That happened in a split second. I'm going to have to rewatch that. That's weird. I wanted to make sure we are recording. Nothing's moving for this scalping right now, guys, unless we go to a small cap momentum or something. Some of these levels are a real stretch, although I would respect this fib, although it just sort of, consolidated around it. It didn't really stop on a dime on it. Okay, I'm going to buy on the 50 cents if it hits there again. 56 on see it. Saw it on the bid, but it wasn't giving it to me on the market maker. We could raise the share size. I don't know. You get impatient, though, and then you're not really making a good, perfect entry. You're just impatient. There's 10 cents. Didn't get it. 10 cents, $10. Can you see how long that's going to take? I said 3 to 5 minutes or something, didn't I? Or 15 minutes before. There's just nothing moving. Can you hear me whining? I'm whining. Just nothing to call. Banging that fib. I cannot read lips. Oh my God. First I see a hand, and then really slow, exaggerated, like I'm going to read it because it's slow. Yes, I can hear you. Tell a story. Wow. You know, if I get into that, I will miss the trade because I love myself so much. I can't get over myself, so I start to get into a story. Oh boy. You know, when I was, so I'm going to look for, okay, let me just talk about what I'm going to do. If it starts to go up through 347, I'm going to go short. If it starts to hit down here at the 50 cents, I'm going to look at the way it's hitting, but probably go long. So I grew up in the Bahamas, and one of the things I used to do is do a lot of diving. And one of my first businesses was recovering. Well, a lot of times it was boats that sank and recovering stuff for the owners because the Bahamian government would confiscate it, and they wanted it like expensive electronics or stuff that's inside the safes of their boats or whatever. So I would go in at night because they'd have patrol boats around and stuff. I had a Zodiac, 20 Mercury on a 14-foot Zodiac, which are those ones that have the sections that if a shark hit it or if you hit a reef, only one section would deflate and then the rest would stay up. It's like some of you are old enough to know Jacques Cousteau, it's like what he had on all his Zodiacs. And I would roll over the side at night and then do what I had to do and then dump it into the boat. And then you had oars on those things too if the motor was too loud. And then you salvage, you make a lot of money. And then also, of course, growing up there every day, I was with sharks, dove with sharks all the time. Always had a knife that I would wrap electrical tape around the top because it was silver. And worried about barracudas, flashing, whatever. But you carry a knife not because of sharks. You carry a knife because of moray eels. And moray eels, big one. I mean, the big ones there. The green moray eels would get 8-10 feet, and they they're like that big around. The big ones, right? And their mouths open and have all these jagged, crooked teeth. And they look like something out of hell, like an evil spawn of something. But when they grab hold of you, they don't let go. They won't let go. And they expand their bodies in the coral heads. They weave around the different in the holes, and you can't pull. So if you're free diving and you don't have any air, you just have moments, before you. I mean, I could hold my breath about 3 minutes at best, and if you're expending energy, that's going to go down quite a bit. So you have to stay calm, just like in trading. Pull out your knife and cut off its head. That's the reality. That is the reality. That's the only way they let go. That's the only way. So that has happened to me. You don't start tugging and panicking and go short. No. But so you had that, and then I had Hawaiian slings. So I'm not going to get into too much about my family, but my father was a very famous engineer. So we could make our own stainless steel spears. You had the little barbs that came up that were like 4.5 feet long. But then a Hawaiian sling is just a piece of round wood that's about 12 to 16 inches long with a hole in the middle, and then it had surgical rubber like around the wood, and it was strapped with twine, right? Doesn't seem okay. So picture like a bow, and here we go. Picture like a bow. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take it. Got it at 99. Hopefully this isn't gonna be its big move up. Let me come back to that story. They won't let me forget it. Yep, I'm hearing cliffhanger from them already. It's a cliffhanger. Let's just focus on this for a minute. This is the moray eel. All right. This is the knife blade. We're going to buy out. We're going to cut it off down here and make some money. Okay, so we're looking for a rejection off this level. I don't want it to keep going up. I'm not going to add to this position because I should be trading this long bias. So instead, what I'll do is just get out if it doesn't fade here. Yeah, so it's scaring me. Yeah, it needs to, and the volume's picking up. So, see, it didn't make it to the top, though, which is a sign of a rejection. So, and the magnet's down here. I don't see any volume coming in, so I think it's going to come back down. Let's see. Said he confidently. This is going to tell us all right here. See, the sellers are taking, well, it's even money here. Look at the meter. This is a great indicator, by the way, if you don't already have it. Got to buy to get out. And if it keeps pounding up, I'm going to take a loss here. God, it's so slow. It's like molasses in winter. Look at this. This is ridiculous. Come on. Reject. Reject. Wait, was that the first thing that was said to me on my first date? Thought I had $11. That wasn't bad. $13, right? Wasn't I at $30? I can't remember. Yeah, okay, so $13. So it actually went our way when it slipped. It's resting against the 9. That's the 9 moving average. That's the 20 for those people that aren't interested in diving stories. I am watching this, but there's not a lot for me to call out. We just passed that another 5 minutes, but it is still long bias, guys. So we have to be really careful going short here. Almost anywhere in here going long is probably not a bad move, not waiting for it to get all the way back down. Because that was a pretty big candle here. So it might be trying to make its way back all the way up here to 48. So if it dips a little more, I'll get in this long. Looking for a little bit more of a advantage. Yeah, see there. Oh, there we go. Can you let me get in here? I'd like it maybe in the 70 cents range down here would make me feel better. Some market makers, 90 cents. You got to be careful with the candles on Thinkorswim. And sometimes they're like 5 to 30 second delayed from, you look at the clock down here and it's like, wait a minute. Or you look up here and they're not even closing at the right time. So, it's got a lot of great things about this. There we go. I'm actually going to take that. So I got in there. God, you see how long that took to fill me? Come on, guys. This is 100 shares. Give me a break, Mr. Swim. Come on. Anyway, so you pull the surgical rubber. You put the spear in the hole, right? And there's a little like a grommet where the surgical rubber comes and goes through, so it rests in like a little grommet, and you grab the rubber, you grab the wood, and you pull back like a bow and arrow like that, and that's an Hawaiian sling, and that's really the only legal. I'll take that. There we go. We're slowly getting our money. That's really the only legal. Projectile you could use diving in the Bahamas. You can't use like a trigger-powered spear gun. They can confiscate your boat. It's illegal. At least it was illegal when I dove there. I'm not sure if they ever changed that rule. The Bohemians used to call sharks cob, C-O-B. The cob, man. There's the cob down there. Watch out for the cob. They're all my friends. Still, I'm not making. Still have many acquaintances in the Bahamas. And if I can talk just like a Bohemian, but I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody, so I'm not going to do that. Like when you're in the deep South and you start talking like you're from the South. Some people take offense. It's a natural thing to emulate the voices that you hear, right? You're not doing it to insult people. Anyway, that's how I would spearfish and get food for my family and for the whole anchorage, and because there'd be a lot of boats anchored, and carry a net bag, and I'd shove the fish in there, and there'd be lots of blood, groupers and snappers and mutton snappers and groupers, margot fish. So if there's a big enough, I might get a huge scup or a hogfish, or you guys that know about southern fish, you know what I'm talking. Every once in a while, like a kingfish or a mackerel would come in from the deep water, because there'd be so much blood and electrical impulses that they come in like waving their heads like, what's going on, and you just like shoot a mackerel that you're supposed to be trolling for out in 2,000 foot depth. Suddenly you can spearfish one. I'm gonna take that. But yeah, I would come across I was actually going to tell a story about something completely different, and now I got into the whole diving thing. But sharks were daily. Often I would, okay, well, you're scaring me. Turn around at the fib, please. I would raise the spear, out of the water with the sling on it, with the wood and everything, and I would swim full speed toward the shark, and then just slam it down, so they don't see it above. First of all, most sharks, and I'm not talking about a white shark, okay? Most sharks, you're big, and they don't want to mess with you. You're not bite size, See, look at me. I'm thinking like a shark, right? I know what a shark thinks. No, so that, believe me, growing up day after day, year after year, I really did get pretty good at understanding what a shark wanted or didn't want. I don't know what they're thinking, but I know how they react. Okay, so this trade's going bad because it broke the fib. But anyway, I would slam that down, and then they would like, they would get startled, and then that's when you make your judgment whether you want to keep diving around that shark, because usually they'll kind of fade off a little bit and just sort of do wider circles way out there. But if they come back right away, okay, that's the kind you don't want to mess with. Oh dear God. Okay. So now I have to say, do I want to double down here, or do I want to get out? So that's the 50-cent mark. I'm going to double down 200 and get ready to get out fast. Average in is the better way to say it. It's not the daily double at a casino or something. We're not pulling the slot machine. Uh-oh. Not looking good. I had a quick chance to get out, and I didn't. It's getting worse. We need it to go up. No. So yeah, if this trade goes bad, then it's becoming untradeable. Come on. 350, it would have slipped. Show me something. Break the fib. The fib stopped it. I should have just got out at the 350. It would have been a lesser loss if it slipped. I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'm just going to get out. There was $12. Do you see how it jumped? Yeah, this is weird stuff, man. This is some weird action. $8 to $24. Yeah, we got to get out of this. This stock is just too weird. It's moving very, very weird. Great if it moves for you, but when it's against you, then it's really impossible to read this. Give me a little bit of green. Any little bit of green. I'll take it. Yeah, did I lose money? I think so. Yeah, we shouldn't do this anymore here, guys. This is just not. So it's now past 1. Do you think the volume has increased on some of these others? Let's see. Nvidia's up $1. Tesla actually ended up being back up now, which is interesting. Let's take a look at Tesla. So we got $50 over here. So what are we looking at here? 142. Oh, so I lost money, right? Because that was at 130 something before. which of course hurts my accuracy. Oh, I guess that's where it was. What am I reading there? Tesla opened at 435, and now it's at 436. Yeah, okay, I see. Confusing. And occasionally, you wouldn't be able to get in the boat fast enough and they'd start to come at you. So you don't want them to rub against your skin because then there's blood in the water. I mean, you already got blood in the water or they wouldn't be there usually because of the fish. That's usually why they come. Occasionally, you'll just run into an aggressive one. It's pretty rare. You see them, but they're not really aggressive. They're not looking for you. They want stuff they're used to eating. Famous last words, right? But I would have to use the sling. I wouldn't want to use the spear because you get them pissed off. So I just take the spear out and I use the wooden sling as a sort of a club, a mallet, and I would, as they get, not out of the water because, you're not going to get any inertia coming down. So as they come in, you just evade and hit. And that's usually enough to buy you the time to get away. It's maybe a dozen times that happened to me, but it's not never real. I never got attacked. There was a few tries, but I'm not missing a leg or anything. I do have some friends that were, though, really, really, really close calls, over 400 stitches. And yeah, definitely it happens. All right, I'm trying to assess. So that 437, interesting if it's going to reject off this. We are moving a little bit better than we were the last day. There was 10 cents in a split second there. So this actually affords us some opportunity or a lot of danger. So let's take a look to see if we can get this remaining money. But a lot of people think that's why trading, my upbringing trading does not make me nervous, does not blow up my skirt, so to speak, when you're, and then much more situation than I was in much more after I grew up that weren't involving sharks, life and death situations. And, when you're used to that kind of stuff, it's just only money, guys. Yeah, I don't want to lose my house, but it's only money. So it's really hard to get me, you're never going to see me screaming at the screen like some of these guys. And the only people I get mad at is Thinkorswim because they their platform messes. I love them, but they mess up. Okay, well, if you came here to see exciting action, if you made your popcorn and you're sitting down, today is an episode of the groundhogs on Wild Kingdom. Today we have an episode, The Life of a Goldfish. Do slugs need shells? That's a snail. Got nothing here. I got nothing to call. I'm looking at these two levels. Let me open this up just to make sure I'm not missing something big here. So you can kind of read the pattern itself. Many things you can read here. You can read the volume pattern as well as what's within the volume. Mostly I'm looking at very short term. And looking to see if the current volume is about to pass based on the clock. Kind of need a clock like right here, like a little clock, but they don't have that. There's no way to do that, but unless I have one detached from the screen. But then every time I click the screen, it disappears unless I pull this, in from the side. Then I can put a clock right here. I have done that before, but you just figure it out. So much trouble and you lose screen. what is it? I don't suffer fools. You know, as a teacher, I learned to, somebody just said, yeah, you don't suffer fools at Thinkorswim. I don't think Thinkorswim's a fool. And as a teacher, I definitely suffer fools all the time. I'm a fool too. I don't judge the fools, or I judge them silently. But when I dove for spearfishing and not treasure hunting, I was always would put myself, right into the worst, most, what some people would call the most terrifying situation, because that's where the big fish were. That's where the action was. There was all these special grouper channel off the Golden Keys and Andros, and there was sharks there everywhere. The Bohemians would come in with their Bohemian sloops, and they would use the glass. What do you call it? God, I'm getting old. Eye bucket, like the eye buckets that have the glass in the bottom, and they had big, long poles, like 30-foot poles they'd strap together. And then at the very bottom, there'd be a piece of metal that would curve out like 3 feet, like a really thick hanger, picture it, like a rod. And they would slide it under the, get it under the coral, because a lot of them were like mushrooms. And I was going to go short there, and I was just waiting to see if it's going to form something. So I am watching. And then they would twist the pole, right? And then that rod would move, a lot by them twisting, and then all the lobster would come out, and then they would had a net on another one, like a big net on another pole, and they would like try to, you can't see my hand, but they would like herd them into the net and then pull the net up like that. Of course, with my Hawaiian sling, I would just go down there and I just start, shooting them and then sliding them up the spear like shish kebab, just, and then I could, these are Florida lobster, they call them. They're spiny lobster. They're not the same as Maine lobster. They don't have the claws. And I would just rip the tails off on the spot, because I needed I wanted to keep going, right? I'm not going to keep going back to the boat. And then you break off the antenna on a spiny lobster. Sorry if this is offending some of you people, if that are animal lovers. They called them bugs. And the spines go a certain way on the antenna, so you break it and you invert it and you put it up their butt and twist it. It's real. In the water, I would do this, pull out, and you get all the guts out of the tail. And then I would put the tails. Sometimes I'd put them right in I had a Speedo. I would flip them backwards, where the round part was against my skin until I had a totally, exaggerated Speedo. Or better, you put them in a bag. It depends on how much space you have. And then you go back and you shish kebab again and again. I'm coming back with 50 lobsters before I go to the boat, that are all ready to put in a pan because I've already cleaned them. And it's, they die quick or whatever, but they're all being eaten. They're not, no lobster was hurt on this story unless it was eaten. Okay. Now I'm thinking about getting in down here. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get in. So I got in at 45 cents, just below the 50 cents. So now the time it's going to die off. Should have looked at the 5 minute a little closer here. I'm playing off this channel, hoping that it's going to do what it just had done like 7 times before and get a quick trade out of here. Get it up closer to, 30, 40, 50 cent trade. Let's see. There's $11. I'll take anything over 10 again if it hits it, which is 10 cents. Our range is only 12. I just wasn't taking note of that. But they would yell and scream when I was down at the bottom, because they'd see a big, like, 17-foot shark or something, to be screaming like, oh, he's going to get you. The cob, it's the cob, it's the cob. And it's like, guys, oh, man, come on. I'm with sharks every day. I'm not going to panic. Just stay calm. You know, diving with sharks has nothing to do with trading. For those of you people who are saying, shut up. Hey, I was asked to tell a story, okay? Man, I should have just taken $6, right? This is just getting annoying. Just want to get out of this. I'm not liking how it's fading here, so if I get an opportunity, I'll just take a tiny trade here. Come on. Looking at I'm at 45 cents. This is at 41. Definitely don't want to average in with only such a small amount. It's not going to really help you if it's fading against you, you know. Yeah, this is going nowhere, guys. I don't know if we have the time to get this account. I mean, we're green for the day. Okay. $35.30. Tesla does it again. Tesla does it again, right? Come on. Thinking about just taking a lesser loss here and getting out of this. Well, volume's going up. It went up as it was going upward, so maybe it's going to make a big spike here. Seriously? Like I couldn't pick up 100 shares on Tesla? Woohoo! Look at that. Now we're 137 again. How are we doing, guys? This is a long video. Okay. A few minutes more. Charlie wants me to tell the blue hole story. So I used to dive in blue holes a lot. And what that is there's a hole at the surface of the water. It's underwater, but it looks like, you know, there'll be like banks. It'll be light colored, like you can see the bottom because it's crystal clear. Visibility is 200 feet deep in most of the Bahamas. Suddenly there's this dark circle that goes hundreds of yards apart, sometimes a half mile, like huge, maybe not a half mile, but a long way opening, right? There's all these stories about how this giant sea monsters lived in there and they would pull down the ships back in the 1800s. I'm going to go short up here. And because what happens is you see this big hole, dark area, and then somewhere down, really deep down, because we were Andros, where I grew up, was at the tongue of the ocean, so it went down so fast, it dropped off so fast. Trees grew out sideways, like you could cut them with a knife, you know. And that's where all the biggest fish, you know, were right there, because there was that deep water. It didn't give me an opportunity up here, so we'll look for a long again down here. Maybe closer to the even dollar, since it keeps making lower lows. So you see how it's making lower lows. So I'm going to trade this short biased right now, which is why I wanted to go short up here, but I just didn't quite catch it. Anyway, so there's a series of holes, or a larger hole, way down deeper, right? So if you picture a kitchen drain, and you know, you see it goes into a small pipe, and the drain's bigger in your sink, and you see it start to, like a whirlpool, right? Well, that's what a blue hole is like, and it moves up. It'll suck down when the tide goes out, and then bubble up when the tide comes in. This is from the cat rubbing on my microphone. There's like little hairs here. Most sane people do not dive in blue holes, because if you get caught, if the tide flips too quickly, it just sucks you right down. It's just because it can suck boats down. So, but me, I dove in blue holes because I wanted the big fish. So I tried to time it where I would be fighting. You know, I'd get in while the tide was still going out, and I'd put a big, like 3-inch rope down over the boat, and the anchor chains, you know, whether it be a Zodiac or a 28-foot Owens I had. I'd wrap the chain around coral heads so if it got too strong, it wouldn't suck the boat down. And sometimes you even have the engine in gear running because you're trying to set up to right when the tide flips that you have 20 minutes or so before it pushes you out. So you want to time it where you're being pushed out, not sucked down. But sometimes, you get into it and it's not quite done sucking you down, and you can die. People die. You grab onto the edge of the wall because it's like a rim. Picture a sort of like almost like a glass, really. I mean, it's just a rim. Big fish. I mean, big fish, because it's going down. It might be 1,000 feet down, the bottom of that, and there might be 200 holes, that are small but equal way bigger than the one on the top. So it's going to have more inertia pulling it down. Does that make sense? I hope you guys picked up on that. Look up blue holes. They were my favorite place to dive because I would come up with they're 600-pound grouper. I'm not going to tell you what they call them because it sounds racist. They didn't used to call them grouper, but fish as big as a Volkswagen. I mean, seriously, you needed a brain shot or you had no chance getting that. And everything was huge. So it was very, very exciting to dive there. Also, treasures and stuff, and skeletons. It depends on most of the stuff would be way down where you'd never go that deep, right? Because it would just turn black. I don't have a trade. I can't, I'm sorry guys. They don't care. But I am going to stop soon. So yeah, that was, you didn't really see a lot of sharks in blue holes, which was cool. But the fish would live in all these different holes and stuff, and suddenly they come out when it was slack tide, and you'd just be surrounded by like this aquarium of giants. You just take your choice, like what would you like to try to board on your boat, that doesn't swallow you. What kind of fish that thinks you're food, because they're so big. I mean, it's insane. Very exciting though, Look up blue holes, you'll see. There was a photographer back then that I really admired. His name was Greenberg. He put out a lot of books about the tongue of the ocean and blue holes and that kind of phenomenon. There's a military base down there off Andros called Fresh Creek. It was in Fresh Creek. And then I had friends there, and as I grew up, and the San Andros Hotel, like the only place you could get air conditioning. Unless you go to Nassau, then, which was just a day's boat ride away. Yeah, I guess I'm going to mark a line there and maybe try to get one more decent trade, guys. Let's see. Otherwise, we'll put on Trader View what we made. I mean, we're doing good this month. There's no sure thing to call here. So I do feel like it's more like gambling right now. So here's the bottom of your market magnet. There's your VWAP. We're right in the dead center here right now. There's your top of your market magnet. Tried to draw levels at $1.50. I just smoothed the level right there. This is so all over the board, and all the other stocks weren't moving. The market's really slow right now, but it probably will pick up at power hour. It's not a good day for me though, for power hour, as you guys know. So I had some time to kill here. I'm not decision fatigued. All right, so I'll take a long down here as it gets anywhere near 36. I'll take a chance. Yep, I'm still just at 100 shares. Even if I get a good trade, it's not going to make a difference. That's the thing. So, yeah, a lot of people wondered, and it's one of the reasons Charlie brought it up, why the nerves of steel thing. And it's just like, it's lifestyle. When you grow up a certain way, it's just like you just turn it off. Usually works to my advantage. Sometimes I wish I had a faster flight reflex than just sit there and go, oh, look at that. That car's going to hit me. Oh, maybe I should be concerned. I was driving a truck. I used to be a music producer along with other things. And I would travel with the roadies, and we had custom buses and trucks built. And I was traveling with it. You take turns. I've talked about this in other videos. You take turns driving 4-hour shifts or whatever for the tank, and then you were pretty much done for a couple of days. And you always had like a companion next to you to keep you from falling asleep or whatever. And you got to choose your own music. And then in the back were all the beds and the gaming, back then, Nintendo TV screens, and, Street Fighter was big back then. That kind of, before NVIDIA had the newer game chip that changed everything. When we're going back, at least it wasn't Pong, but here we go. Getting closer to where I might want to do something here. 86, 84 here. I'm just going to go in because I feel like it's going to fade again before it gets up to the whole dollar. So I took a chance, and there it goes, of course. Got it at 87. Yep, there it goes. It's always the way, right? Anyway, the story I was going to tell you about, not the flight thing, is that literally a head-on on the freeway. It was a head-on collision that was happening. That it was not my fault. God, look at this, huh? Look at what just happened there. Oh my God. See, this is why I should have stopped. All right, I'm going to average down right there. See, that's at the 30. No, I want to get closer to the 50 cent. Now we're taking a big chance. We could lose our profits, guys. How many of you? Oh, you're not even in the trade. You kept me here to take dumb trades. Anyway, and I just immediately yelled back, impact, put both hands on the wheel, and, stiffen. And the guy in the driver's seat was like, how did you even react that way? What are you doing? I'm thinking, I think most people would. He goes, no, I don't think so. He's like, the way you were ready for impact was way too fast. I was just like, well, maybe I should have veered the car off the road. Although it was a truck, so it would have flipped. So I decided impact. I was braking, but you couldn't brake hard. That impact was the better way, and a side impact. All this went through my mind. Could have been far worse. That actually head on was better, unless he, have him turn. Then it's still better for us. But if we turn, everybody would have been flying back there. There was like 8 people back there, and there was no seatbelts. Everybody was sitting on couches and sleeping and playing games and stuff. It would have been really bad. And instead, it was barely bad at all. The other guy was totaled, but we had to be repaired. But it wasn't, we kind of threw a little damper on the show. That was still 2 days from there. We got it going. We did the show still. We did the gig. Come on, fade off this. Oh my God. I don't know. I might want to take the hit, guys. Let me see here. What did I have on the other? Oh, so I had 52 on the other. No, yeah, 52. I was already down on that other. So when I came, I'm going to be like even money from coming back in here from trying to recover if I can't get this trade. I hesitate to average in here, honestly. I don't know why I told that story. Oh, it was the fight or flight thing. That sometimes I feel like I should flight more than fight. Especially when you get older. Things break. They don't bend anymore. I got to get below 437 to be green. It's got to go way down here. I'm going to get out. I didn't like the look of it, honestly. It doesn't look like it's going to go down to me. So I'm going to call that a day, guys. We'll give the Trading View recap. Hopefully that was enough stories for everybody. That's what happens when it's really slow, that I'll just start jabbering away. Try to get this. Charlie's going to try to get this video out, right? Go from here. And I will see you guys in the morning if this gets out today. All right. Go green out there, guys. Be careful. It's trading a sim first. Remember, I'm not a licensed financial advisor, so seek the advice of one before you try to lose money like I just did here today. So overall, we did good. Remember, the other account. Oh, what is it on? Oh, it's not Tesla. Yeah, 500 over here. So we're still good. We're still good. And you guys didn't even lose that last trade. So, all right, go green, guys.